Well, welcome to another Try Before You Buy video documenting our ore collection and security. And as I always do, let me give my disclaimer. This video is not meant to entertain. It's meant merely to document our collection of ore, our sealing of the canister, the bucket, and our security tape, so you know when you try before you buy, which is the option to purchase just some ore from the mine, test it in the comfort of your home or your backyard, and then make a decision on whether you want to purchase the mine or not. You of course are not obligated. Try the ore, and if you're not crazy about it, if you don't find the gold values that we've found over the last half a day of testing here, then don't purchase the mine. But just a way for you to evaluate what you're purchasing before you spend your money to purchase it. So again, not going to be an entertaining video, probably going to be 20 to 25 minutes long, going to be shaky because I'm recording it myself, but we do want to document the entire process from start to finish, so you see exactly what you're going to get. Before I show you around the mine, let me show you how our security is going to work on the ore buckets that we collect. We're going to load a 3-gallon plastic pail with a one-time use cap, first layer of security. Basically, when we seal this cap, the only way to open it is to pull this tab, tear the tab off, and then pry it open. And I always throw the disclaimer in that you probably could monkey around with this and get it open if somebody really had a couple of hours of time and the right tools, and probably not have to tear the tab. However, there's no way to do it without you being able to see that it's been pried open. So once we fill this 3-gallon bucket, hammer this top down, there's virtually no opening this without it being detected. But just to take it a step further, we're going to seal it with a couple of security tape. These are plastic, individually serialized secure tape strips from Uline. In fact, if you want to look it up online, there's the part number, and it's uline.com. Basically, if you tear this off, you will see the words "opened" throughout the whole thing. The red residue from the sticker back stays on the bucket, and there's virtually no way to replace that and cover it up exactly. So you'll know if the bucket's been open. That way you've got security. We haven't salted or tampered or played any games with you. What we pull out of the ground and seal right here in front of you on camera is what you're going to get. For today's buckets, we're going to use 2 serial numbers so you can see them. Nancy Mike 9803442 and Nancy Mike 9803443. Those are the actual tape strips that are going to come with this bucket, and we'll show you before we end the video how we sealed them on, so you'll be able to see that it wasn't messed with. First thing I'm going to do is take a location for you. I'm going to blot this out just because I don't want everybody to see where this particular mine is located. Whoever purchases will receive obviously the coordinates, but just so you have it, here's where we are. I trust you can see that. Again, I'll block that out just for security, and take you for a little tour of the mine. It's called the Shadow Gulch, Gulch. However, about 80 years ago, close as we can tell, there was a typo somewhere along the line, maybe at the county recorder, maybe with the Department of the Interior, BLM, not really sure, but it wound up being called the Shadow Gulch, Gluch. So in order to keep with history or tradition, we kept it the same way, just didn't have the heart to change that. So it's the Shadow Gulch is how it's referred to in history books, but it's the Shadow Gulch on paperwork. Just an explanation. What you've got is 2 mines here. This one we took a laser reading on. Straight down, I don't want to get too close, but straight down here is a depth of about 86 feet. And then there's a shaft next to it about 6 feet connected. with a lot of stoping and a couple of drifts and cross cuts that at about the 20-foot level connects with that main shaft. Pretty extensive workings. That'll travel about 120 feet south-southwest, basically off to your left. Can't really see it on here. And then again connect to the main shaft if you were to head to your right. A lot of timbering. The collar is still here, but I'm not sure I would trust it. This mine's probably 120 years old. The Ivanpah mining district is where we are in California. We're pretty close to the California-Nevada line, probably about, I'd say, maybe 45 miles outside of Las Vegas. So still Southern California, still Nevada. And what you have here is just a massive pile of tailings. Very easy to see where the mine dump is and where they separated the tailings for grabbing. In fact, that's where I'm going to work. I'm going to just grab a section of tailings, and all I'm going to do is fill this bucket with some of these, let you test them in the comfort of your home. You can see a little view around. There's 3 prospects, cuts where they've opened up some areas, none deeper than 15 feet. But you're in a pretty remote, pretty secluded spot. Beautiful spot, actually. About 4:30 in the afternoon here, so the light's going down a little. March 20th, 2014. But you're far enough away from everything. It just makes it just a beautiful area. Come out here and do the work, crush the rock out here and work it, or load your truck up and take a load back, work it from home. We're probably about 8 miles off of the 15 freeway. That'll take you a good 40 minutes to get to because it's dirt road, slow going. You can do it in 2-wheel drive as long as you've got good clearance. Roads are actually pretty good. There's a few areas that are washed out, but for the most part they're wide enough. You may have to cut a little brush if you're worried about a scratch on your truck. A lot of miners' trash, relics. At one time this must have been a fairly sizable operation. About a half mile from here, not on this claim. Let me just say that again, not on this claim. There is a cabin site that probably housed the miners, because on the books there's actually 3 mines here for the Shadow Gulch, although we only found the one. So good chance that there's another one tucked in a ravine somewhere. Certainly are a number of dry washes and runoff areas, all kinds of evidence of mining activity that dates back probably a minimum of 75 years, and most of it probably goes back to the late 1800s, early 1900s when the district was founded. So a lot of historical value here as well. So let me show you, this is interesting. You'll find a few of these old bricks. So they were probably, it was probably a kiln on site where they did some processing right here, which would make sense because of the remote location. But I don't know if you can see the difference in color on the tailings. There's a lot of material to work here before you even think about entering the mine. In fact, I would focus on it first, because all the extraction methods back then were extremely limited and not very efficient. As a result, miners tended to focus on just the high-grade ores, anything that had an extremely high percentage of gold, stuff that we would consider today a high percentage of gold. They would have passed on, a couple of, an ounce to 2 ounces of gold per ton of rock just wasn't worth it for them to pull. But heck, that's a heck of an ounce of gold at today's prices for a day's worth of work. Crush up some rock. That more than justifies work in the claim. So you've got, like I said, before you even enter the mine, you've got a ton of tailings to work. You can park, as you can see, literally right next to the mine. There's plenty of room to turn around. In fact, there's a big flat area up here with no brush where you could fit a small RV. Not sure I would take a Class A out here, but you certainly could tow a medium-sized fifth wheel or toy hauler out and probably get out here with a Class A if you've got some good clearance. A lot of dry wash, worth working. just because all the lodes in these hills all around us will wash down here, and over eons the rock will actually erode. It actually decomposes, and the gold from the source, from the lode, if you will, which is what you have here, somebody mining the actual lode, will find its way into the gravels on the dry washes. So look for your little nooks and crannies and pull some of that out, and either dry wash it here on site or bring some water out, a recirculating pump, and run it through a setup out here. If you can crush it up, a spiral wheel, or you can actually hand pan it and probably do pretty well. So again, you have all these tailings to work. This was just piled and waiting to be pulled out. Never got pulled out. Who knows how much they actually pulled out of here. I spent the last couple hours pulling some readings, and not only are the gold numbers really good, but silver, surprisingly, is in some cases more parts per million than gold. I'm actually going to do a test sample for you on an XRF scanner that will show us how much is in there, but word of caution, I'll probably have to block that out, just because the good old legal counsel doesn't want us advertising exact values, because that could be construed as a guarantee. And anytime you guarantee performance, you open yourself up to a lot of cans of worms. But we'll see how it is. If it's not off the charts, I'll show that to you. We're going to use this bucket for collection, brand new bucket. Got it labeled with the mine name and date. So that's going to stay right here, and I'm going to set up on this tripod. We've got your security labels, and basically I'm going to pull from just this area right here. There's enough material to fill this bucket, and I'll give you a little bit of variety, because I see some darker granites that I saw some pretty good silver numbers in, and of course a lot of your the browner rock, that's where your gold lies. So I'm going to let you watch the whole process, start to finish. It'll be boring, but if there's any questions on integrity or security of the samples, this will show exactly how it was collected, and this video will be uncut. Yeah, they set up here uncut and unedited, so you'll see from start to finish exactly what we're doing. First off, I'm going to take a few samples with an Olympus Delta Premium XRF scanner. And if you're not familiar with these, it's basically just a very focused X-ray beam, shoots through a small window into a target size of about 3 or 4 centimeters, a surface reading. And the X-ray will actually penetrate rock about 3 to 5 mils, depending on which beams we use and how long we use it. I'm going to do a medium test. I'm going to use 2 beams, a 40 kilovolt and a 10 kilovolt. And I'm going to run them both for 25 seconds, so a 50-second total duration test. And this will show us gold down to about 6 or 8 parts per million, and silver down to 10 or 11. First thing I'm going to do is calibrate, just so you can see a close-up. Anytime you switch sites, change elevation, so many different factors can affect performance. It's always recommended to calibrate the machine. That's done with a test ingot, basically a known sample, if you will, from the factory that the machine knows exactly what to look for. Calibration is about a 10-second. I always like to start with that. It's reading now. I won't lose this, believe it or not. It's about $150, and you're looking at about $35,000 here. Just so you can see, cal check passed. Hopefully you can read that. So we know we're good to go on the machine. First thing I'm going to do is grab a couple rocks to test for them. I should let you see it first. That would help. So that's basically what I'm going to test. About 50 seconds. About halfway through. Okay. First of all, I'm watching the numbers, so I'm gonna give you this piece. This is one you're gonna want to evaluate. Let's see if I can show you this screen. So we've got 1,352 parts per million zinc, 90 parts chromium, about 9% iron, high iron content. 322 lead, 2.2% titanium, 1,352 parts per million magnesium. You've got nickel, copper, barium. Here's the good ones. Gold was 17 parts per million. I can tell you that because that's not really high. But the interesting part is silver on that one is higher than any reading I got today. They'll probably make me bleep this out, but silver is per million. Here, let me just show you. So you basically get a readout. I don't know if you can see that. I may have to block this out. I'm not sure. Just an LCD screen. You'll get a readout of right down to the element level, parts per million, what exactly is in that rock. And that wasn't actually my target rock. I'm looking for, what I want to try and send you with here. This is a great piece. I've been testing a bunch of these today. Wherever you find two different rocks come together like that, two different colors, you typically will find gold in between because the different weight rocks will move at different velocities and the gold will flow in between like a river, of course, when it's molten. So let's take a reading on this. Pretty much stacking the deck because I already know what this pile's done. I've randomly sampled probably 20 different pieces of ore. Now again, this is a surface reading, so we can't see what's in the middle of the rock. With a depth of a rock of this density, probably 3 to 4 mils deep, we'll get a very good idea. The only way to get an accurate and extremely accurate, if you were going to invest a few million into a large operation, not only would you do drill samples, core samples, but you would take your samples like this, and instead of just doing a surface test, you'd crush the rock up, homogenize it, which is nothing more than just stirring it up so you've got an accurate distribution of everything inside the rock. And then run your samples with this machine or send out to a lab. Then you'll get extremely accurate readings of a mixture on what's on surface and what's inside. Yeah, this is what I've been seeing all day. I know I'm not going to be able to show you this screen. I'm going to do it anyway, but we've still got fairly high zinc, iron. Titanium is 2,157 parts per million, 224 parts per million magnesium, 190 parts per million copper, vanadium, arsenic, 517 parts per million arsenic. Now that's often used as a precursor for gold, especially in this area. So a lot of times, in addition to just measuring for your target metal, which in this case is gold, you're going to look for your precursor metals too. Arsenic just happens to be one of them. Copper is another one in this area. We've got really high values there. Silver's not bad. Silver is 15 parts per million. I didn't expect to see much more than that, but this is the big one. I'll probably have to block this out. Gold. Let's see if I can let you see that. Gold is per million, and again with the high copper, the high arsenic, for a surface reading, that is really good. Of course, you know, until you break this rock up and start to work it, it's a lot of that's going to be microscopic gold, extremely fine gold. So you're going to have to figure out how to extract it. For me, I just crush the rock and pan it is the simplest, but you know, a spiral panning machine with a recirculating pump sure makes that a lot easier. So I'm gonna give you this sample as well. And I'm not real scientific on how I'm going to do this. I know the colors I'm looking for. I'm going to give you a mix of everything here. Got some really good color here. And whenever you see quartz mixed in, that's always a good sign. There's of course some of your silver bearing material mixed in with the gold. So that's the vein they were following. You wouldn't be so picky if you were going to run all this. I'm trying to give you a good mix. That's where I say I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but there's your gold bearing material right next to your silver bearing material. So that's definitely the fracture zone in between the two rocks, and that's where most of your deposits will be. A lot of that dark material. I don't want to overfill, you won't be able to close it. think that's pretty full. You can see we literally pulled it right from here. I'm going to go grab myself a hammer to seal this. Once I lock this cover down, there's no way to open it. So one corner locked down. That's not going anywhere. That's probably about 60 pounds. So I'm going to seal it. Again, the serial number is Nancy Mike 9803442 and Nancy Mike 9803443. Now, if I don't screw this up, once these go on, there's clear evidence that the case has never been opened. There's just no way to open it. That was 442. Here goes 443. And that's sealed. You'll be the first one to open it. I'm going to try and get you close up here. Let me jostle on again. We'll ship this to you inside of a box, securely wrapped with shipping paper so it won't get damaged in transit. Again, the name on the side of the bucket. There's your serial numbers. 443. Of course, that's upside down. 442. And again, you're at the Shadow Gulch or Shadow Gulch mine on March 20th, 2014. Appreciate the consideration. Give it a try and see what you think. No obligation.